with his neck and his shoulder, and I was like, dog, if his neck is messed up again, I don't know, it might be a wrap. You're not at Clemson anymore. He broke his neck and came back. He tried to play with a broken neck, too.
I'm also going to say it's a touchdown because...
Shout out to Forrest Lamp, too. You just totally forgot an offensive lineman.
Because I was actually going to get to that later, but I'm also going to say it's a touchdown because I've been saying the Chargers have one of the best receiving corps in the league. So
Tyrell Williams is pretty good. People sleep on him.
Yeah. Cleveland.
Travis Benjamin.
Cleveland.
No, Tyrell Williams was...
No, I know Travis Benjamin was.
The Raiders didn't pick him up either in free agency. 4.37 speed, by the way. Same as Corey Coleman.
All right, next one. Your boy, David Johnson, he's coming back. He said he's focused on proving his greatness and not his expiring deal and contract negotiations. Is that a touchdown or a turnover?
Touchdown, because I'm definitely taking him in the first round if he's available.
I'm saying...
And for fantasy football, he's going to have a monster year. With Josh Rosen at QB eventually?
First of all, I think Bradford's going to be the starter because you don't pay him that much money to not start.
Will get injured
Second of all,
in 3 days.
Second of all, I'm going to say it's a turnover because, bro, you're a running back. You need to get your money right.
He's an all-purpose running back, though.
Period.
They're not going to... Arizona ain't got the bread to pay him.
We're seeing how that's going with Le'Veon Bell, so I'm sorry, man.
But imagine he hits the free agency market. You already missed out a whole
year. You already got buyer beware tags on you.
But he should have gotten paid. He only broke his wrist. You got like he tore his ACL. He broke his wrist and part of his hand.
Still missed a whole damn year.
Because he broke his wrist and part of his hand, you jackass. You realize he was having a career game the game he got hurt? He caught like a long-ass pass. He had a long-ass run. He was in the middle of another great year. And I honestly think before Saquon came along, he was the best running back in the league. I think he's a better runner just based off the fact that he's faster and more athletic than Le'Veon. And, you know, David Johnson actually plays special teams. Yeah, he actually had kick returns for touchdowns. David Johnson is a real one. And they improved their offensive line in Arizona. I'm all on board for David Johnson. And he's going to get paid. If Arizona want to play that game and they don't want to pay him, he'll find somewhere to go.
All right. So if he has under 1,500 yards from scrimmage, what are you going to do?
How many touchdowns, though?
Yeah, you're fake.
Nah, if he don't have at least 10
you're over here talking about how he's going to be a breakout player, and you're worried about him getting 1,500 yards from scrimmage? Come on, dog. You don't really believe in him if you ain't really willing to wager something on 1,500 yards from scrimmage.
He's going to have a lot of receiving yards, first off, because he's like...
1,500 total yards from scrimmage, and you're over here talking about...
That's personally too low.
Okay, so do you want to take the bet or not?
I'll take the bet, but my out is touchdowns.
You're being
my bet is fine. No, I'll take the bet.
About it.
I'll take the bet. No. Let's do it.
We'll get to it later. All right, next one. Ndamukong Suh, shout out to the Rams. Shout out to all the Rams listeners out there.
Been brutalizing the Rams offensive line.
They asked Ndamukong Suh if he hates quarterbacks, and he says he hates them with a passion.
I think he wants quarterbacks to die. Actually, no.
Is that a touchdown or a turnover?
That's a turnover because I think his hatred of quarterbacks, he didn't always hate quarterbacks. I think he just like beating the shit out of them. Like, I think him getting screwed.
He probably just saw the Centennial quarterbacks wash out at Nebraska and was like, I hate them.
Oh, Corona Centennial. You got to be specific.
Yep.
Taylor Martinez. He actually would have been great had he not had all his foot injuries. Still fast,
I think they had another one before him, too.
They did.
Scott? No, Scott was Arizona. He might have been Arizona.
Yeah, Scott might. He was nice at Arizona, too. He got drafted off his best year. Matt Scott. He got drafted off his best year ever, which was at Arizona when they beat USC. But anyway, yeah, I think it all started when he got screwed wrong. When Nebraska got screwed against Texas in the Big 12 title game, they would have sent him to the national title game and probably won him a high. No, they would have won him a Heisman.
How about that Cowboys game?
No. It was the
playoff
Nebraska game
before he left Detroit.
I think he
got screwed in that game too.
I think if he could honestly get Colt McCoy in a dark room alone by himself, Colt McCoy would never be heard from again. But he wouldn't be dead. He'd just be like, he would just be, I don't know. He hates. We know he just hates.
I'm gonna say
because of that Texas game.
I'm gonna say it's a turnover, but not for the same reason you are. I'm gonna say it's a turnover because I feel like this has cost Sue a lot of money because it plays into the narrative that he's like this mean, aggressive guy when he actually does a lot for community and he's actually a great player. And maybe if he focused a little bit more on, getting rid of offensive linemen and finishing the quarterback, he'd have more sacks. As you pointed out the past couple of weeks, when you slandered him, you slandered him 2 weeks ago. You were like, no, I didn't. Bro, Sue's not that good. We need Aaron Donald.
Time out.
Blah, blah, blah. Whatever you were saying.
Okay, you're not going to sit up here and just misconstrue my words. First off, what I said was,
you completely undervalued Ndamukong Suh as a point. Ndamukong Suh
was a great player.
As a point,
but Aaron Donald
to overhype Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald is a once in a generation.
On that same note,
Aaron Donald is a once in a generation talent.
This whole Rams camp, I've been hearing about how great of a leader Michael Brockers is. Is that a touchdown or a turnover?
I think that's a touchdown. LSU tackles don't bust out usually. I mean, they do, but there's a lot.
Again, another defensive tackle you slandered last week.
I slandered him because I was like, what is he? Because coming out of LSU, it was like he could either be a really good 5 technique or a decent 3 technique. I was like, what is he?
Isn't that what he is now?
He's really a 5 technique. Yeah.
Like, he's a decent 5 technique?
He's a good 5 technique. He's not a decent. He's good. He's good for a 5 technique. He
finally had 6 sacks last year.
5.5. He finally grew into his role and his body.
Why are you taking that man's half a sack? I'm over here trying to round up. I'm over here trying to round up.
5.5 is 5.5, dog. Straight up, 5.5 is 5.5. If you 5.5 is 5.5. If that's the case, if we're going halves, then Khalil Mack needs way more than some of the sacks that he got.
All right, next one.
Mario Edwards doesn't deserve half a sack, or Jihad Ward, for being honest.
The next one, Raiders are shuffling the offensive line. Donald Penn has been playing right tackle in training camp. Is that a touchdown or a turnover for us Raiders fans?
I don't know about us because, I mean, if they trade Khalil Mack, I'm a Packers fan. Oh, God, I'm not playing. If they trade him to the Packers, I'm a Packers fan. Fuck all y'all. I still go to Oakland because that's my town. But the Raiders, as they're concerned, no, I'll be a Packers fan. And Reggie McKenzie will probably go back to the Packers, too, since they like trading with the Raiders so much. It's a touchdown because Donald Penn knows his days are numbered after that pay cut that he had to take, pretty much. And then the situation that he had with his wife. He lost some leverage this offseason, and he had Liz Frank surgery. He's better suited to be the right tackle. And honestly, they haven't had a right tackle in years. He's the solution to their right tackle problem.
I agree with that.
And Colton Miller has to be the starter left tackle. You have to let him get beat up.
Because you put a first-round pick. And
you have to let him get his ass kicked.
Couple things. First of all, Derek Carr has already teamed Colton Miller. He's been praising him all camp, even though he's been getting dookied on by Arden Key, who's probably going to get dookied on by every offensive tackle.
Being dipped low. Just dipped low. I mean, like the Christina Milian song.
I think this is going to be a win for Donald Penn because him and Gabe Jackson really dominated on the left side a few years ago. So I expect them to rekindle that chemistry on the right side. And really, as we all know, the right side is the running side. So I expect Penn and Jackson to really team up, open up some holes for Marshawn. I think it's going to be a touchdown all the way around. But hopefully, I'm hopeful they can figure out a way to develop Brandon Parker faster than I think he's going to be ready.
Wasted pick.
Actually, I think Donald Sharp is actually pretty decent. David Sharp is actually
first
pretty
team
decent.
reps at right tackle.
So
Florida right tackles are usually pretty good.
Hopefully he can break into there. Next one, on that same note, Rashad Penny, one of your draft crushes, first-round pick for the Seattle Seahawks.
The pride of Norwalk, California.
Broke his finger, but everything's good. He's expected to be good for week 1. People have been saying if Marshawn is beast mode, Penny is a Lamborghini. Is Penny as the starter in Seattle, is that a touchdown or a turnover?
It's a touchdown, but his offensive line is trash. Like, if Seattle's offensive line was anywhere near as good as Cal's offensive line, when Marshawn Lynch was there, which is a little bit better. They had Mitchell Schwartz. They had Alex Mack. At least they had guys who were good on that Cal offensive line. I mean, he's a great player. He's a great young talent, and they're going to need him, but their offensive line is so garbage. Their offense is going to suffer, and mostly Russell Wilson's going to suffer.
I'm going to say this is a turnover, not for the same reasons that you're even mentioning. The offensive line, I'm hearing, looks good based off everything that I've read. Russell Wilson is a fan, but he's always a fan of them, so he's captain positive. And Jamarco Jones looked good, but then he got hurt, so I don't know. They say he's good, but typical Seahawks offensive line shit.
Ohio State right tackles.
So I don't know. But what I will say, and you're probably going to hate me for this, is Penny just a bigger CJ Prozize?
What the fuck did you just say?
Is he just a bigger CJ Prozize?
You can't even say your favorite Notre Dame player and running back's name right is CJ Prosize.
Prosize, whatever.
Dog, what would you do without me? You should be GFing people's names. Remember the conversation we had about...
Okay, is he though? Can you answer my question?
No, he's 1,000 times better than that guy.
How?
In every way possible. Blocking, pass catching, receiving, special teams, running, vision, agility. Name a Notre Dame running back who has full use of his
We're not
knees.
talking about Notre Dame running backs. We're talking about these two
CJ
players.
Prosize went to Notre Dame.
I know. We're not talking about Notre Dame running back. We're talking about these two. So don't distract from the comparison that I'm trying to make right now at the moment, just to make your point by making some overbroad statement.
By shitting on
That's
Notre
not
Dame
what we're
running
doing
backs?
here. Yeah.
Name the last good one though.
I don't care, bro. That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, bottom line is she was the first round pick for a reason. And the fact that he's way better than Donnell Pumphrey was and showed it and can run between the tackles, he just needs
even though he let a 5'8" dude start over him for 2 years, I mean, we're just gonna ignore that part.
He was splitting carries, and he still had 1,000 yards when Donnell Pumphrey had 2,000.
Okay,
and he was returning kicks and punts for touchdowns.
So basically,
don't act like he watched San Diego State football.
I didn't. I never did.
I know
That's
you
why
did.
I'm asking you,
jerk.
I'm asking you, but what I'm saying is...
Don't disrespect that man's pedigree.
What I'm saying is, so basically you're saying he's the next Marshall Faulk.
No, but he's in that
I mean, basically everything you just said.
He's Le'Veon Bell. He has Le'Veon Bell type ability.
He's faster than Le'Veon Bell.
Exactly. But he's... Imagine David Johnson in terms of ability and skill, but with Le'Veon type vision. He just needs a good offensive line. And he can win at the second level. He can win against linebackers. He can win against corners and safeties.
All right, last one before we close it out.
And he has home run speed.
The Chargers' offensive linemen are actually looking good. Forrest Lamp, as you mentioned earlier, returned to practice. Reports are good. And Mike Pouncey is supposed to be also doing good. So, is that a touchdown or a tangent? Is that a touchdown or a turnover that the Chargers' offensive line is looking good?
It's a touchdown because Dan Feeney's competing with another guy whose name I don't remember at the moment. And Forrest Lamp is coming back from that torn ACL. And he looks fresh. He looks good. If he can,
they said he might play tackle, though.
Yeah, I mean, would you want Joe Barksdale as your starting right tackle?
I wouldn't, but they've been trying to replace him for 3 years, but that man just keeps persevering, so I can't hate on him.
Yeah, but Forrest Lamp is probably going to be better as a guard. Just for what they have. Dan Feeney's already a solid guard. And they can grow with those two guys. You want an athletic guard. And remember when they had Chris Dealman and I forget the other guy. But they had two solid guards, but Chris Dealman was that dude for years.
All right, man.
And Mike Goff. There you go. Chris Dealman, Mike Goff. I think one of them was the center, but they had an athletic guard who could get to the second level, and that's what Forrest Lamp can be. And he is pretty good in pass protection. So I think I would want him cleaning up the interior defensive lines of the AFC West.
So it's been a crazy episode 85. We've had all types of technical difficulties, but we maintain, and we're here. Ocho Cinco, Ocho Cinco. So, KB,
Persist.